Hey, Sam, thank you so much for that introduction. Let's go ahead and get this started. I'm going to share my screen really quick. If everyone can just go ahead and make sure it's all, you can see everything, let me know in the chat if any kind of technical issues. We've been doing this a lot and yeah, thanks. I trust the community. So good afternoon or morning, wherever you're coming from. Welcome to the Gamers for Peace presentation for the Veterans for Peace National Convention. For those who don't know, Gamers for Peace is an ongoing project born out of the Veterans for Peace Truth-in-Recruiting initiative. So we're here to talk to you about the problems with the military-industrial complex that Gamers for Peace are trying to solve, how we plan to solve them, and how you can get involved with a highly motivated and inspiring community effort. This presentation is scheduled for about 90 minutes. We'll use approximately the first 60 minutes or so for our presentation, with the last 30 minutes reserved for general question and answer. Stay tuned because we have a lot of content planned, including some good information on the military entertainment complex, the modern military recruiting, the state of modern military recruiting, and some community member developed videos. I do want to give one content warning. Some of the videos that we'll be showing you today will depict simulated weapons being shot at virtual characters on a screen. There's no sound to them because someone is talking over those videos, but the imagery is there. I'll let you know whenever we get to that video, so you can take any precautions that you'd like. But with that out of the way, and without further ado, let's have the presenters introduce themselves, and we'll take a look at our agenda for today. We'll dive right into it. I'll go ahead and start. I see a lot of people throwing around War Puppy in the chat. That's me. I go by War Puppy. That's my gamer tag on Discord and in all our community. I go by Alex. I've been a member of Gamers for Peace since some of its early stages. I was streaming before I moved about 2 to 3 times a week on a variety of topics and a variety of games. I am an Army veteran of 5 years, and I now live in Chicago. I'm working to establish the Gamers for Peace / Veterans for Peace career mentorship program for young adults. And yeah, I've got a wife and a dog and a cat as well. Can't forget the cat, but that's me. I'll pass it over to Erin after this.
Hi again, my name's Erin, or on Discord and in online spaces, I go by Lil Pistons or Pistons. And I joined Gamers for Peace when I heard about it from a Veterans for Peace member. I'm a librarian at a community college, and I first heard about military recruiting in collegiate esports, and so that's why I'm here. And I'll send it to Yo-Yo.
Hi everyone, I'm Yo-Yo, or Highly Sensitive Unicorn online and in Discord. I am a veteran ally and a VFP associate member. I'm an avid video gamer. I'm also a licensed professional counselor, and I'm working towards advocacy and social justice in the mental health field. I'm excited to be part of Gamers for Peace because I love to play video games, but have been not playing a lot of video games because of the toxic nature online. So I'm really glad to be part of this community where I get to play video games with really cool people. And also counter-military industrial complex online. Oh, sorry, I'll pass it over to Chris.
Hi, my name is Chris Velasquez, and that's probably how most of the VFP membership knows me, as the organizer on staff with VFP. But I'm also a lifelong gamer and a community member of Gamers for Peace. And that's how I came into Veterans for Peace. Through this online community. And I served in the Marine Corps as a civil operator, Iraq and Afghanistan. And now I'm here, really happy to be here and ready to talk. And solving the issues that the military industrial complex brings into our hobby and activity space. It's a really important thing. So glad to be here, and thanks for having us.
Awesome. Thank you, Erin, Chris, and Yo-Yo. Look forward to hearing more from y'all shortly. So as for the rest of the presentation, let's take a look at what we will be covering today. First, we want to give you some insight into why Gamers for Peace. Why do we exist? How do we fit into the greater context of organizing against the military-industrial complex? To know this, you have to understand the military entertainment complex, which is kind of like where we fight day in and day out. You have to understand what esports really are and how gaming fits into the greater pop culture scene. You have to understand how the Department of Defense uses these platforms to target kids as young as 13 years old for their recruiting pipeline. We'll talk about past Veterans for Peace counter-recruitment efforts, how Gamers for Peace was born, what we've accomplished in a very short amount of time, and how we plan to expand this community in our efforts towards the future. Lastly, we'll cover ways that the greater VFP community can get involved with Gamers for Peace, and then we'll open it up to Q&A at the very end. So if anyone has any questions, please just hit us up in the chat. Otherwise, we're going to go ahead and get started. So why Gamers for Peace? Some of you may look at all of these terms that we're going to start throwing around, like esports tournaments, Discord, Twitch, streaming, broadcasting, and you would understandably be kind of confused as to how all of this fits into the greater picture of combating American imperialism. So to explain this, we'd like to start by defining our problem, and then we'll work backwards to show you how Gamers for Peace is fighting on these various fronts. So our problem is this, and you can see on the screen some of the evidence of our problem, including some of the headlines that we have up here. The US military is using esports as a recruitment tool. I personally took a little snapshot of the US Army esports Discord server. You can see those numbers at the very bottom in the bottom left where it says like M205, G1370. Those are the actual number of people that are active in their community Discord. And if you add all of those numbers up, it gets over like 7,000, I think, that they have just in their community alone. And then you can see this post by the Navy Twitter where they're talking about some of their esports players actively participating in civilian tournaments. So this is a real problem. And we know that the US military has always been involved in popular culture as a way that they use to create buy-in for America's various wars and create a sympathetic recruiting base to pull future soldiers, airmen, Marines, and sailors into never-ending conflicts around the globe. This phenomenon is called the military entertainment complex. That's where we operate day in and day out. So let's start at the beginning of the military entertainment complex. The idea for this can be traced all the way back to the 1927 film Wings, which was set during World War I and starred Clara Bow, Charles Rogers, and Richard Arlen. This movie is notable for its heavy involvement from the US Army Air Corps, which supplied pilots and planes for their film scenes, as well as general assistance and supervision on the set. So it would go on to win the very first Academy Award ever for Best Picture, and it was the only silent film ever to do so. But why would the DoD commit massive resources to a film like this? I mean, there are some scenes that involve over 3,500 infantrymen, 300 different pilots. They had military officers walking around on the set, giving directions to the soldiers and the extras that were on the scene. And there's actually stories that come out of the development of this movie that said the director would get involved, get into arguments all the time with these military officers. They do this because whenever the DoD donates a massive amount of resources to a film, they retain creative control over the script and the casting. And they do this to make sure that the military is always presented in the most positive light possible. And this goes on, like everyone watches these movies. This goes on to influence generations and generations of young adults who grow up watching these movies and then look at military service as the right thing to do, the way to defend American way of life, the way to be the best person that they can be. So 1927 is kind of like one of the very earliest films that we can trace this back to, but they didn't stop there. They had massive propaganda campaigns during World War II, specifically designed to pump out comic books about the war effort, not to mention recruiting, war bonds, all the rest. This continued after the World Wars with heavy involvement in radio, print newspaper, television, film, and now video games. So let's see. Everyone knows Top Gun. You know, Tom Cruise playing shirtless volleyball, aviator sunglasses, doing his absolute best to make Navy fighter pilots out to be the absolute coolest people in town. And it worked. A lot of us on this panel and a lot of us in the community know people who joined the military specifically because of this one movie. But that's not all. What about Black Hawk Down? What about James Bond? What about more James Bond? We have both Goldfinger and License to Kill that the DoD was heavily involved in. Indiana Jones, Iron Man, and who can forget Captain America, of course. The DoD has been involved in Transformers, Karate Kid, Batman and Robin. The list goes on and on and on. Every single one of these movies involved a massive amount of resources donated by the Department of Defense. And the only thing that they ask for in return is the ability to edit the script to make themselves look good. They even did a music video with Katy Perry at Camp Pendleton. I can't remember the song name. I mean, but like, come on. This is where your taxpayer dollars are going to fund Katy Perry videos. Does this look familiar to anyone? Anyone who's watched a professional sports game ever in this country knows that this happens just about every single time. You have the Army or the Marines or something standing out there in their uniforms, parading around the flags. You'll have the flyovers of the jets or the helicopters over the game. It's a massive, massive show. And they do this deliberately to make sure that it's always presented in the positive light, and that, you know, the military and service is always top of mind for, you know, American culture, right? Nowadays, it's this. This is where the military is starting to pivot a lot of their resources into. This is Call of Duty, which is one of the largest, if not the single largest, video game franchise in history. Their latest title sold over 31 million units. And you guessed it, the DoD is heavily involved, and frankly has always been heavily involved in video games. Not a lot of people know this, but the DoD was actually pivotal to the creation of video games in the very first place. This picture right here is a video game called Space War. If you ever played Asteroids, where you have like the little black and white little spaceship shooting things around, that's actually developed from Space War. And Space War was funded by DARPA in 1962. It was a bunch of MIT students, I think, that developed it. After that, it became Doom, which, if no one knows what Doom is, it's like you're a space marine on Mars, and you go around shooting demons and everything like that. Well, the DoD actually reframed this a little bit to provide training to their Marines. Instead of having like all these demons that you see on Mars, they would, you know, like reskin them to look like people, and they would use that to train their Marines on small unit tactics. This next one right now is America's Army, which was actually developed by the US Army in 2002, developed and published, and was intended to inform, educate, and recruit prospective soldiers. It was basically just a massive recruiting show. They used to bring this game out to air shows, amusement parks, and sporting events to try to get kids hooked on it. It was meant to give them a glimpse into what, you know, Army life was like. But anytime you would go onto the actual game, you were in their forums, there would be links directly to the Go Army website at that point. And it was a very deliberate and not even concealed attempt to get these people into the pipeline. So the landscape has evolved from movies and comics, and now we're in video games, and we need to keep up. For the next portion, I want to cover a couple of the terms that we're going to be throwing out a whole lot. And then after that, we'll watch a quick video, and I'll pass it on to Aaron a little bit. Okay. So just like us, the DoD learns and it grows. They're no longer limited to movies and music videos, and they're actively recruiting on platforms like Twitch, Discord, and in esports tournaments. So if this sounds like another trendy but misguided DoD effort, You'd be wrong, actually. Video gaming is a massive industry, dominates popular culture among millennials and Gen Z, and is growing exponentially. So esports is basically competitive online video gaming, where players take part in organized multiplayer tournaments, and a lot of these tournaments actually have massive prize pools in the millions of dollars. And it's a rapidly growing billion-dollar industry that's on track to hit $1.8 billion industry size by next year. Many of these esports tournaments, like the stadium you can see here, boast like packed to the brim, sold out shows. And some of these tournaments can reach viewership numbers that are actually greater than the Super Bowl. Service teams from the Army, the Navy, the Air Force, and the Marines will compete in these tournaments as a way to bring visibility to their recruiting efforts. One of the other terms that we'll use is Twitch. This is a live video streaming service that offers traditionally video game focused content like broadcasts of the game tournaments that we just talked about. A lot of times creators will host content where they're playing a video game, but then you can see their face in the bottom corner or something like that, and they'll speak and host content to their audiences. As of February of 2020, Twitch had 3 million subscribers and over 15 million viewers that were logging in every day. Excuse me, I said 3 million subscribers. I meant 3 million broadcasters, like the actual content creators, and over 15 million viewers logging in each day. This is actually the platform that Gamers for Peace uses to host a lot of our content. We'll typically have a panel of community members, veterans and allies alike, who will discuss various topics like the economic draft, imperialism, or just generally talk about our experiences, both good and bad, of serving. All this is usually happening while we're playing video games, and you'll see some of that content later on in the presentation. Lastly, we have Discord, which is a social media and instant messaging app that allows people to get together, discuss, and organize around various topics. As of December of 2020, Discord had over 250 million registered users. That's almost the entire population of the United States, distributed over the entire globe. This is actually the app that we use to organize our own community and host our community efforts, organize among ourselves, and provide emotional support to each other a lot of times. I know one thing that I'm very proud of is how the community bands together around certain news events, or maybe on holidays like 4th of July, and provide support to let everyone know among the community that you're not alone. We're here to help you. We're here to support you. Even when the world is getting crazy, we're here to help. So those are some of the terms that will be thrown around throughout this entire presentation. What I would like to do from here is I'm going to show you a very brief video, about 3 minutes long. This video is actually by an ally of Gamers for Peace. His name is JT, and he runs a YouTube channel called Second Thought, which has over 1.1 million subscribers. He'll cover a variety of topics, and he came out with this video called US Military Recruiting Explained. And we reached out to him. He was kind enough to actually come on one of our streams where we discussed the predatory military recruiting practices by the DoD. And I'm going to show you a brief clip of this. It's going to explain how the DoD uses these tools that we just discussed to hook kids at a very young age. Content warning. There are guns in this video. You're going to see, like I said, some of the simulated shooting and everything, but JT is talking over it the entire time, so you're not going to hear any gunshots. But if you need to, please just turn your volume down or turn your screen off for the next 3 minutes or so while we go through this. All right, let's go ahead and get started. And then if you can't hear any sound, I'm pretty sure I set the settings right, but if you can't hear any sound, please let me know as we go.
The U.S. military has been adamant about maintaining a fighting force of 500,000 soldiers, and this requires an intense recruiting program. So, how does the world's largest military entice the next generation of soldiers? Well, these days, it seems to be with cartoons that appropriate inclusive language, video games, and taking advantage of those in poverty. Let's start with the video games. I'm sure you're all familiar with Twitch. If somehow you're not, Twitch is the largest live streaming platform in operation right now. They bring in insane numbers of both streamers and viewers, averaging roughly 3 million concurrent viewers at any given time, who watch a total of around 500 million hours of content per week. That's a huge audience, and a lot of time spent on individual streams, which can run for hours. As far as demographics go, the audience skews young and male, with about 65% of viewers being male, 41% between the ages of 16 and 24, and 73% between the ages of 16 and 34. To military recruiters, Twitch is a dream come true. You have a captive audience of young, impressionable viewers who tend to develop parasocial relationships with the streamers they watch. It's the perfect medium for young, charismatic recruiters to pitch the military to the next generation. And they know this. In 2018, the US Army launched its own Twitch channel as part of its new, more modern approach to recruitment. The Navy followed suit shortly after. In the first 6 months of 2020, the military had bagged 13,000 new recruiting leads from Twitch alone. Keep in mind that many Twitch users are underage, as you only have to be 13 years old to make an account. So, you have young, incredibly malleable children watching trained Army and Navy recruiters play games like COD and Fortnite for hours on end, while they surreptitiously try to convince their viewers to join the military. If this sounds incredibly shady and predatory, that's because it is, and it gets worse. Early in their streaming endeavors, the Army esports mods would ban users for asking about US war crimes, until they were eventually forced to unblock those people after accusations of First Amendment violations. Then there's the Navy claiming that their streamers aren't recruiters, despite the fact that they're required to take the same training courses as Navy recruiters before they're considered for the role. The Army even went so far as to just straight up lie and put up a link to a fraudulent Xbox giveaway, which, when clicked, instead took you to an Army recruitment information form. This was later taken down by...
Oh, all right. Sorry about that. That's the end of the video. But the very last thing that he says is that little page that he was talking about was actually taken down by Twitch later because, you know, the DoD keeps violating the terms of service. Okay. So after all of that, I'm going to go ahead and pass it over to Erin. She's going to do a little bit of a deeper dive into these modern military recruiting tactics. So let me get us onto the next screen if I can figure this out.
US military has...
And take it away, Erin.
Thanks, Alex. So there are a lot of stats in that video, but the fact is they all add up to that the military's target recruiting audience, young people, they are playing video games and they're on Twitch. And when the military looks at the availability of potential new recruits, the actual percentage that's available is very small. There's a large segment of young people today who are just not eligible to enlist due to factors like being severely overweight, mental health concerns, and other physical issues. So the percentage of young people who are willing and able to enlist is actually only 17%. So the military, they have very strong motivation to dump considerable resources into recruiting, and that includes trying things that might seem wacky or outlandish compared to past efforts. Things like esports and streaming and going to video game conferences and conventions and things like that. You know, as mentioned in the video, a lot of this started in 2018. And the other thing that happened in 2018 was that the Army missed their recruiting goal for the first time in 13 years. So this is when the Army, the Navy, and other branches, they began to turn away from, you know, types of recruiting that we're probably all used to, like the television ads, being present at sporting events. Obviously, they still do some of that. Heavy staffing, maybe for locations in strip malls, doing college fairs and career fairs, being in schools. They took a lot of the funds that they would have used on things like that, and they redirected it into streaming and video games. In 2019 alone, the Navy took $20.2 million that they would have usually used on television advertising, and they put that into streaming and video games and things like that. Online advertising in general, specifically to target 17 to 28-year-olds because they recognize that's where they are. Some of this money, of course, was redirected into esports, and as the video mentions, the esports team members come from recruiters, and the Army and Navy, they auditioned, and I'm not editorializing when I use that word audition. There's press releases and there's quotes from military personnel saying that we auditioned from our pool of recruiters for these esports team members. They recognize that there's showmanship involved in this, that it's a very carefully curated content that's being put out. And so, you know, the word audition, I think, says it all right there. They, as mentioned in the video, they say that these esports team members are not recruiters. Again, even though they come from recruiters, even though the Army's team is located in Kentucky at the Retention and Recruiting School. The way they get around this is by saying, if someone in the chat wants to enlist, that esports team member is going to redirect them to a local recruiter. So because that esports team member isn't taking them through the actual steps of signing up, they're not a recruiter. This icon on the screen, this is the mascot for the Navy esports team, Goats and Glory. And by having esports teams, so another component, we have the streaming and then we have the teams, the military is allowed to get into less restrictive and more interactive spaces. Next slide, please. So this, these are a couple of screen caps from a Marines-sponsored Rocket League tournament that was held in December 2020. And it's a nice example of how all of these pieces kind of come together in one picture. The Marines, they don't have a permanent esports team at this time. They have competed on an ad hoc basis in different tournaments, but nothing permanent. They are obviously from this these images, they are using esports tournaments to recruit, and they're being a lot more upfront about it. You can see one of the event rules is that if you sign up for this tournament, you might be contacted by a Marine recruiter. They also use social media to advertise this tournament. I found out about this one in a collegiate esports Discord server. It was posted there for anyone to sign up. And it's really slick. Like, I don't want to sound like I admire what they're doing at the same time that it's infuriating, because it's very slick. They are using a well-established website to host this tournament. It's smash.gg, and it's 100% free, specifically designed for esports tournaments. It's well recognized in the video game community, so their tournament automatically has legitimacy with video gamers, and it doesn't cost anything. This prize pool valued at $1,000, you can see that some of it is gear. Maybe these other sponsors donated it or provided it, the funds to purchase it. It's a very minimal time and money investment for them to reach a very broad audience. They stream these tournaments, of course, so that allows them to reach even more people. It allows them to interact with people on Twitch in the chat, and it allows them to have that content available for later viewing. So even if someone missed that tournament at some point, they can come and see it again. They can recruit in larger geographic areas. You can see that one of the rules here is that you reside in the area around St. Louis. Well, the brackets for this particular tournament are still available online, and there's a University of Wisconsin esports team that played. December 2020, this obviously happened during COVID-19 lockdowns, so it's possible that these University of Wisconsin students were in the St. Louis area at the time of the tournament. It's also possible that they're just distance education students. Doing degrees online is very common these days. It's also possible that they just let University of Wisconsin compete. Either way, their spread is much larger with just one tournament, much larger than the St. Louis area. The other thing too is that we see the event rules. You must be at least 16 years or older to participate. Next slide, please. You probably already know there are regulations around who the military can actively target with recruiting. So they are legally not allowed to target children under 17 years old in the recruitment efforts, but this tournament is saying you only have to be 16 years old to participate. And as the video points out, a large amount of users in these digital spaces, they are children and they're underage. So, you know, I'm going to say it's nearly impossible, if not impossible, to control what a child does online, unless you're going to 100% cut them off from all online connection and then cut them off from their peers who have access to online content and social media. there's going to be things that slip through the crack no matter how vigilant a parent or caregiver is. And the military is banking on that. So this is a screenshot here from Everyone Games. It's a Discord server that is connected to a nonprofit organization called the Video Game Clubs of America. They help middle schools and high schools set up video gaming clubs. They'll send them like a startup package if they don't have the funds to purchase equipment, and it includes a Nintendo Switch, different advertising materials, things like that. Their purpose is to try to like create more inclusive gaming spaces, be a good place for kids to practice leadership skills. And one of their slogans, I really love it. It's making this socially awkward, socially active, which I think is awesome. Like give them a place to practice social skills and things like that. So it's a pretty great organization all around. But unfortunately, they have this dedicated text channel in their Discord server for Army National Guard recruiting. And you can see here that the recruiters posted their contact info. They've posted incentives. The students, these children, they can direct message these recruiters and have a private conversation with them, again, that their parent might never know that they're having. And it's hard to say, like if a recruiter asked a child, how old are you? And they said, I'm 14. Are they going to stop talking to them? My guess would be no. They might not push heavy recruiting, but I would feel that they would still want to like maintain that relationship and use that to give a good image of the military service, things like that. So this Discord server, which 100% has children under the age of 17 on it, there is a recruiter there who can talk to them. Next slide, please. So all of this together, we have these very public channels like Twitch, and then we have these more interactive and sometimes private means of communication like Discord. They allow people to watch military personnel engage in something that's not related to the military at all and is extremely popular. And all of this allows the military to capitalize on this human phenomenon mentioned in the video known as parasocial interaction. And parasocial interaction occurs when one individual develops a very strong emotional attachment or bond to someone who literally doesn't even know they exist. So think about if you've ever known someone who is very obsessed with a pop star or a movie star, or they feel really close to some type of reality TV or other celebrity. That is a parasocial relationship. And it's even more exaggerated today with our current media environment because we have these YouTubers, TikTok, Instagram, Twitch streamers, where, you know, even non-military Twitch streamers, they are very careful about their persona. They create a certain type of content very intentionally. YouTubers, they do the same thing, of course. And it's meant to humanize them, but in a controlled way, and also to make it seem like, hey, we could be best buddies. So it's really calculated in today's media environment. And allowing these military esports personnel to stream for hours, like literally hours every day on Twitch, post on social media, develop these very carefully controlled and curated on-screen personalities. All of this is done to target young children and develop this more friendly, like, hey, we like to do the same things that you like to do. Come join us in the military. Maybe you can play video games on military time, right? And it's just not true. They don't even try to hide it because this quote in the box is from Business Insider. You can Google Business Insider. It's not like behind any paywalls usually. It's not some obscure publication. And they are talking about how they're trying to improve military image with children in the hopes that more youth will enlist in the future. So again, banking on the phenomenon of parasocial connections in children. So your children, your grandchildren, your nieces and nephews, your best friends' kids, someone you know personally, I guarantee is watching these military esports personnel stream day in and day out. And children are primed for this type of influence due to this media climate that we're in right now. And the only way to combat this is to take what we've been doing with counter-recruitment, currently and in the past and modernize that for today's environment. So Yo-Yo is going to give us an overview of past VFP efforts, and then we can look at how we translate those into our modern media consumption habits.
Thanks, Erin. So as you've seen from what Alex and Erin have been talking about, we've heard a lot about the gaming industry and how the military is using it. So how does VFP fit in? So as you already know, it is apparent how predatory and insidious the military's current recruitment efforts are and have always been. Veterans for Peace has a long history of combating these recruitment efforts through Truth-in-Recruitment campaigns and direct action. VFP's website hosts resources for students and to find alternatives to enlistment and to learn the truth about what's going on about joining the military and what joining the military actually entails. With efforts like the Truth-in-Recruitment Working Group, VFP continues to promote truth in recruiting efforts by advocating for informed consent, providing alternatives to enlistment, and reaching out to students prior to enlistment by collaborating with other activist groups, such as the ones listed here, the National Network Opposing the Militarization of Youth, otherwise known as NAMI, the War Resisters League, and About Face. Through these collaborations, VFP members and allies have initiated significant work towards getting anti-war groups like VFP in schools alongside recruiters, and to also get recruiters out of schools altogether. VFP member chapters have also engaged in dissemination of truth in recruiting materials, including the VFP UK's chapter did a Don't Join the Army campaign, and Darren Cullen created this Don't Join the Army satirical comic. It's pretty interesting if you want to look it up. It talks about truth in recruiting and what being in the military and war is actually like. VFP Chapter 92 has been working towards getting VFP and related organizations into Seattle area schools to counter military recruitment efforts and to provide information for opting out of the military, recruitment. VFP Chicago chapter is working towards counter-recruitment efforts in their region as well by campaigning to have the military removed from the Chicago public schools. A quote from their mission statement is, "We seek to build a movement to remove the military model of conflict resolution by violence from the lives of youth here in Chicago, and to turn Chicago public schools into a national model for teaching cooperation, nonviolent conflict resolution skills, and restorative justice." Gamers for Peace is born from these efforts and continues to move towards counter-recruitment actions by meeting the military and potential recruits where they are at now, online and in gaming. Chris is now going to talk a little bit more about how Gamers for Peace came to be. So Chris?
Hi. As Yo-Yo mentioned on the previous slide, VFP has a strong history of counter-recruitment efforts. It's important to note that Gamers for Peace was originally developed out of the VFP Truth-in-Recruitment Working Group. These anti-war veterans came together after firsthand observation of military recruiters being active in the same hobby and gaming spaces they occupy. Veterans play video games. I play video games. I've been an avid video gamer since childhood, and was even able to continue playing video games on deployment in Iraq and Afghanistan. Video games have been an important hobby and leisure activity for me, and as it is for many other veterans. We've seen the glorification of war and military in popular media, including video games. While Call of Duty and similar games draw obvious comparisons to war and military life, these are not the only games that veterans play, and they're not the only games that the military recruiters are playing. We, as anti-war veterans and allies with the dedication to counter-recruitment efforts, are not okay with the military infiltrating yet another aspect of our private life and the private lives of our youth. While counter-recruitment efforts in schools may have been an effective effort in the past, with the advent of social media and online video gaming, recruiters no longer need to be in the school or parent permission to engage with youth. It doesn't matter that we're in schools with recruiters. Recruiters are recruiting your 13-year-old child in the lunchroom on their Nintendo Switch, on the bus while they play on their laptops, and through social media on their smartphones. Recruiters develop parasocial relationships at the very formative events that are supposed to be safe places, like the first ever virtual concert that had 10.7 million concurrent viewers. This event occurred through the video game called Fortnite, of which 26% of players are pre-teens and nearly 63% of players are 18 to 24. This game is also the third most popular esport and is currently being played and streamed by the military esport teams and recruiters. Recognizing this, the Truth-in-Recruitment working group put its collective brainpower to forming a direct action campaign to directly combat the DoD's efforts. Interviews with established streamers like friends of our platform, Left Flank Vets, and other gamers that stream were conducted to determine the best method for participation on the platform. In the upcoming slides, Aaron, Alex, Yo-Yo, and myself are going to explain what came of those initial plans. And that's just a little bit about where we started. And here's where we are today. Next. So what has Gamers for Peace accomplished so far? We've been around, it's just been a few months, and Gamers for Peace has grown to include over 200 Discord members and over 300 Twitch followers. Gamers for Peace produces over 12 hours of anti-war content each week, thanks to the support of over 15 dedicated volunteer streamers. Gamers for Peace has worked with CARE, the Council on American Islamic Relations, by hosting them on our stream and guest visiting their stream as part of their deplatform 6 Days campaign. 6 Days in Fallujah is an upcoming video game glorifying the atrocities and war crimes committed by the US in Fallujah, Iraq, and has been dubbed an Arab murder simulator. Gamers for Peace is working with CARE to advocate for gaming platforms to refuse to host this military propaganda video game. As Alex mentioned earlier, we also have the honor of hosting Second Thought creator JT on our Twitch FPS Friday stream. Gamers for Peace also continues to collaborate with other like-minded content creators and communities, such as Left Flank Vets and DSA's Veterans Working Group. And most importantly, the Gamers for Peace community members have participated in repeated direct action interventions in the Army Esports team streaming channel that has since led to an 18 and over designation on their platform. As we've mentioned several times, Gamers for Peace is a growing community of gamers, veterans, and veteran allies joined together by their desire to fight against the military-industrial complex. Yo-Yo is now going to show us a video introducing some of these amazing volunteers and community members.
I love this video, and thanks, Chris. And thanks to Jules for putting together this video. So as you've heard from Chris, Gamers for Peace has evolved out of already existing truth-in-recruitment efforts. Gamers for Peace content creation is completely volunteer-led effort. As Chris mentioned, we do 12 hours of content each week, and we have over 15 volunteers that rotate throughout the week, and they are from around the nation. These numbers are continuing to grow. Here's a clip introducing some of our volunteers and allies who are actively countering the military presence online and in gaming spaces.
I'm your host this evening. I'm Sincerely V, also known as Chris.
My name is Zach.
My name is Phoenix.
Hi everyone, my name is Krabby.
Army vet.
I'm a Marine Corps vet.
I was in the Army.
I am a 6-year veteran of the United States Air Force.
I go by Antifa.
I'm Mash, not really Potato. I just don't have my webcam set up today.
I'm a gamer for peace.
I'm a member of the Rocket League team.
I'm an ally for Game for Peace.
And Gamer for Peace.
I'm Garrett or Haas.
Rep Paladin Dad. Garrett Reppenhagen.
My name is Hassan Mushroom.
I'm Jeff. I go by Smedley Butler was right.
War Puppy, also go by Alex.
I'm the Executive Director of Veterans for Peace.
I'm Yarby. Hi, I'm TJ.
My actual name is Jake Yarbrough.
I am the member coordinator on staff for Veterans for Peace.
Member of Veterans for Peace.
Veterans for Peace digital organizer.
And Veterans for Peace associate member.
United States Marine Corps vet.
Marine Corps vet.
Did one tour in Afghanistan 2008.
I'm a stand-up comedian.
I am also an ally.
Did 2 tours in Iraq.
U.S. Army vet, 5 years.
Anti-war activist and artist.
I was in the U.S. Navy, regretfully.
I was a U.S. Army Cavalry Scout and a sniper.
I was in the Army for 5 years.
My name is Jules. I also go by Pacifist War Vet.
And I am an anti-war activist.
Generally a swell guy, or so people tell me.
Now, I just do cool things all the time. So.
I love that. I love the RB at the end there. Thanks, Jules, for editing that video and putting together. So these folks have already graciously donated countless hours to creating Gamers for Peace content, learning and developing streaming and tech support, and engaging in digital organizing online and in online community building. Without these people that you see here on the screen and so many others who you haven't seen yet, we wouldn't be here today. I often tell the community how grateful I am for their efforts and how amazed I am that so many people have come together to dedicate so much of their personal time and resources to support this important effort. So now what? Let's see on the next slide. So where are we going? So far we've heard a lot of background information about why and how Gamers for Peace came to be. Here is a look at where we are planning to go from here. Gamers for Peace is presently working on 4 main channels of change: streaming content, esports, a mentorship program, and direct action campaigns. Chris and I will speak more about the current streaming programming and esports efforts of Gamers for Peace in the next few slides, and Alex and Aaron will talk more about our mentorship program and our direct action campaigns in a few minutes. As Aaron mentioned earlier, the military is spending a lot of resources to engage in online recruiting using video games and streaming platforms and the continued glorification of the military and war through esports teams. These 4 channels of change intend to counter these efforts by making counter-recruitment content and resources available to youth and potential recruits in these same spaces. These initiatives are accomplished by developing a community of energized and action-oriented veterans and allies, with a primary focus on attracting and empowering post-9/11 veterans. In order to keep the momentum of previous VFP counter-recruitment efforts going, Gamers for Peace believes that engaging post-9/11 vets and connecting with youth in digital spaces are extremely important. It is easy to put the blame on social media websites or the technologies themselves, but whether we like it or not, the future is now. Themes from stories of our youth, like Ender's Game, are quickly becoming a reality. With major technology shifts in how war is engaged, such as drone warfare and the use of artificial intelligence, and how youth are engaged by recruiters, such as through Twitch or other social media platforms, as you have seen, it is becoming increasingly evident that initiatives like Gamers for Peace need to exist. How many of you have children or have children you care about? I can't see you raise hands or anything, but I'm sure many of you do. What do you see them doing with their time? Video games and connecting online are not going away. In fact, they are getting even more advanced. Rather than resist this change, we can embrace it and use these same technologies to support anti-war and counter-recruitment efforts. Look at these cool jerseys on the screen right there in the middle. Imagine a table at a gaming convention with the amazing Gamers for Peace logo posted up next to a Navy esports table. Where do you think your kids will go first? This like hot pink, blue, cool game controller logo, or fatigues and camouflage? I don't know about you, but I can't wait for my Gamers for Peace jersey to come in the mail. It's got my name on it and everything. I'm really excited. Gamers for Peace is dedicated to counter-recruitment efforts in online and gaming spaces. And we have a unique opportunity to engage children before they are inundated with military propaganda. To do this, we are implementing these 4 channels of change to get the word out, organize our community, and combat the military-industrial complex online. I'll pass the presentation over to Chris to talk more about Gamers for Peace content creation and our streaming philosophy.
You have to excuse the whining dog beneath my desk right now that decided he wanted to be in here with me. So as Yo-Yo mentioned, streaming content is one of our 4 major channels of change. It's appropriate to start with discussing the streaming aspect, as this is where our first few months of effort has been concentrated. Our approach to Gamers for Peace streams has been come for the game, stay for the conversation. Developed by the community, our content combines podcast-style conversations focused directly on veteran or anti-war topics, with gameplay serving as an exciting backdrop or after-discussion activity. The purpose of each G4P stream is to provide political education and an opportunity for relationship development with any viewer joining us in chat. While competitive and serious gaming is part of the 4 channels of change mentioned previously, our evening streams approach whatever game we are playing with fun attitude, reserving the serious moments for the topic of discussion. Our gaming streams are also serve as a starting point for newcomers to our community. Viewers come to this channel to watch our sick Rocket League skills, but end up staying for the in-depth analysis of the themes of militarization in Bad Batch, which is the latest Star Wars animated series. We hope that viewers whose interests have been piqued and have decided to follow our channel will return next time when we have a guest historian on a panel discussing the legacy of the mental health consequences of the Hiroshima and Nagasaki bombings, like we did this past Monday on the 76th anniversary of Nagasaki. Community members bring their individual experiences and energies to each stream, resulting in a cohesive communal personality that speaks to the very soul of what Gamers for Peace is attempting to do in this space. Build and foster a community of highly motivated storytellers that share their experiences as veterans working to bring about an end to all war. Allow me the opportunity to give you a taste of that personality on the next slide with a short clip. This clip is an example of what some of our streamed content currently looks like. This is our Friday ad slam hosted by Gamers for Peace community member and Marine Corps vet Plantifa every Friday. You can join Plantifa, aka Katie. I hope all of you have the chance to meet him yesterday's allyship training and has been just heckling us nonstop in chat. I'm just pointing fingers. I hope you can made it to the allyship training and join Plantifa and the panel of Gamers for Peace community members as they obliterate army ad or military ad videos, call out the insidious nature of military representation in media, and all around slam the military industrial complex while having a really good time, engaging our community and providing support to each other. Go ahead.
Time to start this Friday off with our regularly scheduled military ad slam.
He's definitely coming off as crotchety old man. I'm definitely getting
yeah. He's already starting off to where he's just like, get off my lawn, you know, like.
Yeah, sorry, I don't need basic training. I did it in America's Army 3.
Okay, I want to get to the war criminal stuff.
If I play this game and get a high enough stats, do I still have to take the ASVAB?
Intelligence isn't perfect.
I'm furious.
I also love that it's not a hard sell while he goes through the menu options of how to link to Army careers.
Yeah, I mean, we got a lot wrong.
Yeah, I did 2 tours in America's Army 3.
Oops, we overthrew a government and killed 500,000 people.
This was designed by the Army as a recruiting tool, but it's a fun game.
I did that dumb decision of like, yeah, let's sign up at 17, and then I was like,
Yarby, unrelated, are you okay?
I laugh every time I see that, just with Plantifa asking if Yarby's okay, because we know him and he's not. He's really not. Ways. Love you, Yarby. As you can tell, Yarby is our resident comedian, and after you follow and subscribe to the Gamers for Peace channel, you should absolutely do the same for him. He is a streamer on Twitch also, on his own platform. This video clip is just a taste of our content and highlights only one of our many weekly shows. Yo-Yo is now going to talk more about our current programming schedule.
Yeah, I'll give you a break from the whining dog. Thanks, Chris. So here's a look at what our current content of over 12 hours a week of programming looks like. On Monday nights, we host a Mental Health Monday. Phoenix hosts this event with other volunteers and sometimes special guests. Phoenix is a licensed mental health professional, and together with the regular guests from the GFP community, like Poisson, they stream their video game play while discussing mental health topics as they relate to veteran experiences and current events. They are presently working through a series related to substance use and harm reduction. And just this Monday, they had a special guest on to talk about the anniversary of Hiroshima and Nagasaki. On Tuesdays, the Rocket League team streams a group practice while discussing anti-war veteran perspectives relating to pop culture. Some of our recent topics have included the movie The Tomorrow War and Star Wars The Bad Batch, while drawing comparisons to the veteran experience, exposing the biased representation of military in the media, and advocating for counter-recruitment efforts. On Wednesday nights, we feature our very own Reppenhagen, or also known as Paladin Dad. He's currently DMing a Dungeons and Dragons Broken Thrones campaign with players from the Gamers for Peace community. I know some of the players are also in the chat. And they navigate war and veteran themes while playing. In a post-game discussion, the players talk about the night's role-playing adventure and themes that come up related to their personal veteran experience, historical implications of war, and related current events. And so while the community at large is invited to play along with any of these games, you can join the Discord if you want to play, or you can chat along with us during the live stream on Twitch. But we also host a community game night on Thursdays, where volunteers take turns hosting a community-oriented game night with party-style games like Jackbox. I'm sure many of you all have played that, or Among Us. And we do this in order to engage the community, build relationships, and provide a supportive and fun space for the GFP community. Once a month, the Gamers for Peace admin team hosts an open format meeting, which is live streamed for community participation and feedback. So if you have suggestions for campaigns or direct actions or how you would like to get involved, joining in on our meeting called the Lemma Circle on Thursday nights once a month is a good way to do that. In this meeting, we discuss progress, areas of needs, our direct action campaigns, and related efforts to support organization, collaboration, and also to keep us on track towards reaching our goals. And finally, on Fridays, Plantifa hosts the Ad Slam, which you just saw a clip of that Chris showed you. She, along with special guests and community members, analyze clips of military propaganda and media. The group often points out the insidious nature of the ads, videos, and the other media they are watching. They draw connections to their own military experiences, and they also demonstrate really great camaraderie through the humor, as you saw, and they support each other during these sometimes very heavy discussions. Gamers for Peace also hosts special events and other programs, such as live streaming direct actions. Like we just had someone live streaming the Daniel Hale sentencing press conference in DC a couple weeks ago. And then a few months ago, we were live streaming the press conference at the Deported Veterans Mural Project. That was also in DC. We're continuing to seek opportunities for expanding our programming by engaging with our online community and other allied organizations. Chris will talk later about how you can get involved to support the growth of Gamers for Peace. But for now, they're going to talk about Gamers for Peace esports initiatives. Chris, is the dog still whining? You're up.
Moria stopped whining. He is now just dead center of my floor, and the other one decided to join right there. Sorry for dogs, but not sorry for dogs are life. As Yogo mentioned earlier, esports is one of our main channels of change. Aaron described how the military is currently recruiting youth and spreading military propaganda through gaming, esports tournaments, and online. Gamers for Peace is working towards building our own coalition of elite gamers with hopes of eventually competing in the same competitions and against the military esports teams. Currently, we have begun developing a Gamers for Peace stream team of veterans and allies that stream casual gameplay while sharing anti-war messaging live on Twitch and across social media platforms. We hope to continue to increase the number of players and streamers we have, expand the games that are being played, and increase the number of hours of content created to further expand our online presence and reach a larger audience. A major goal of Gamers for Peace is to create competitive esports teams to compete directly against the military teams. Esports has quickly become a major entertainment and hobby industry. In 2018, the esports industry saw $4.5 billion in investments, and total esports revenue is expected to surpass $1.8 billion by 2022. There is even talk of esports becoming an Olympic event alongside breakdancing in the near future, after recent success engaging youth in new events such as skateboarding. Aaron mentioned earlier, the DoD is well aware of the growth of this industry and has been already allocating tons of resources to infiltrating it. That's why Gamers for Peace is working towards creating our own teams as a direct action counter to military recruitment and propaganda in this realm. Imagine anti-war veterans beating the Army esports team on an international stage in a DoD-sponsored tournament with the Gamers for Peace logo shining on screen while anti-war vets lift a trophy and the Army's players are hanging their heads in defeat and shame. That's direct action. While these seem like lofty goals, there are many steps along the way that we can engage in right now. For example, we have teams ready to join some smaller tournaments, and we hope to even host our own Gamers for Peace branded tournaments and leagues to continue to draw youth, other gamers, post 9/11 vets, and other community members ready to take action against the military-industrial complex. Yo-Yo, as one of the Rocket League team members, is going to introduce a video clip of a typical Rocket League stream practice now.
Thanks, Chris. So as Chris mentioned, I am one of the Rocket League team members, though I'm not that good yet. And Aaron is actually our dedicated Rocket League coach. Aaron also mentioned earlier that the Marines hosted a Rocket League tournament that had participants as young as 16. As you will see from this clip, this video game is not a war-themed video game like Call of Duty, and a significant portion of this game's demographic are children. This is a clip of one of the Gamers for Peace Rocket League team practices. In this clip, the team is discussing the movie The Tomorrow War. Has Chris Pratt in it, if you've seen it. It's on Amazon. We draw connections to past and present military themes, including PTSD and the draft. Can we play the video?
This is our Rocket League team practice.
Tomorrow War is kind of your run-of-the-mill action modern war movie with the twist that children and grandchildren come back from the future to say there is some alien menace that needs to be addressed and is wiping out humanity. So using a machine, they start teleporting people forward into the future to help fight this war.
I don't even know how I scored that goal. I have no idea what happened.
Hey, if you're scoring goals by accident, then you're doing something right.
He explained that the people they send have to be dead in that time to avoid paradoxes.
It is interesting though, because they have to be dead, and not plenty of young people die, but more older people die, obviously. That it's true. Instead of a bunch of young people being drafted, it's a bunch of older people being drafted. So that was interesting. Yeah, that's something to think about.
Did a good job of showing veterans coming back from post 9/11 and what they deal with, and kind of translated that to dealing with the alien threat.
Did they ever say why they didn't have uniforms?
They were treating them like cannon fodder. Why waste uniforms on people trained for 7 days if they're just gonna die?
Why waste money on cannon fodder? That hurts my heart, and yet it is so incredibly true.
Oh, oof. So this is Rocket League game. If you've never seen it, it's like rocket-powered cars, and you're basically playing soccer. It's also a cross-platform game, so you can play it on your Nintendo Switch, you can play it on your Xbox, your PlayStation, you can play it on your PC. So it draws in a huge culture of players, over 90 million players. The US Navy esports team has been actively playing this game and streaming it on Twitch as part of their recruitment and propaganda efforts. We stream our practices while engaging in anti-war themed discussions to directly compete with these military streams. So when young people search Twitch to watch other streamers play their favorite video games like Rocket League here, our videos will come up and hopefully they will watch our streams over the Navy's. By searching for these gaming streams on Twitch, users will also likely connect to our Discord and social media, where they can then engage further with our counter-recruitment efforts and seek mentorship from a supportive anti-war community. Alex will now talk a bit more about our mentorship program that Gamers for Peace is working on.
Thanks, Yo-Yo. I appreciate it. So the mentorship program was actually born out of one of our Thelema Circle meetings where we were discussing how we can kind of like create direct one-on-one action with the people that the DoD are targeting with a lot of this, with a lot of their practices. So what we'd like to do is be able to provide direct one-on-one support with mentors who have an established professional or academic career, and they can help guide young adults, high school aged adults who are at the prime age, looking at enlisting or going into ROTC or something like that, and providing them the support that they need to understand that there are alternatives out there. We've all had this experience. Sometimes it feels like the military is the only option because you need to pay for college, or you need to pay for gas, or you literally need a roof over your head because your parents are going to kick you out once you graduate high school. they don't see any other way to make ends meet because they've never had someone in their corner who's been through it all, who has an established career and can give them guidance on alternatives to military service. And that's what we hope to do. We want to be able to provide career counseling, resume reviews, interview preparation, college application and scholarship assistance, and just general networking support. And the way that they do this is what Yo-Yo was talking about. If they come into our Discord, if they come into our Twitch and they say, what do I do? I don't have any other options besides the military. They can talk directly to one of our mentors and we'll get them established with weekly check-ins and guidance along this way. That is kind of how we want to be able to directly combat what we saw earlier, which is they can go into the US Army Discord and they can talk directly to a recruiter. Well, they can do that with Gamers for Peace, and they can come in and talk directly to one of our Gamers for Peace mentors, and we can start maneuvering them towards community college if that's what they want, towards scholarships if that's what they want, towards let's say like union jobs or trade skills or even gap years. We have all kinds of options available to them that are just not military service. And if this is something that you'd be interested in, seeing a little bit of, or even getting involved yourself as a mentor, we'd love to talk to you. Myself and Aaron are kind of spearheading this right now. So just come into the Discord server, type @mentor and hit enter, and one of us will pop up and respond to your questions. After this, I will pass it over to Aaron to discuss some ongoing Gamers for Peace campaigns.
So you've already heard a little bit about Deplatform 6 Days. That's the effort that CARE is doing, and Gamers for Peace has supported them. And I want to point out that the video game has actually been canceled twice before due to pressure from different organizations. So I feel really confident with continued pressure from CARE and Gamers for Peace and Veterans for Peace, we can keep this game in the trash where it belongs. Say no to recruiters and #NotAnotherGeneration. That's our mentorship program that you just heard about. And then these upcoming Twitch campaigns. So again, because Twitch is such a huge media platform with young people, we want to try to target some efforts directly towards Twitch, because again, the military is using it quite heavily. The military recruiter badge, there are different icons that will appear on usernames in Twitch. And so this effort would be to force anyone who's streaming on paid military time to have a badge that identifies them as a military member. And it's important that it's paid military time, not just a recruiter, because again, the Army and the Navy are insisting that their esports team members aren't recruiters. The next two, the military ad opt-out and military ads on 18+ channels, they kind of go hand in hand. Military ad opt-out, if you were a channel owner and you didn't want military ads to appear on your channel, you could check a box, for example, and that would prevent any ads from popping up. So that's another campaign that we're looking at. And then certain channels have 18 and over designations. And I know like usually that means in our culture that's going to be like explicit material or whatever, but that's not what it means on Twitch. Sometimes it just means certain content, like for example, the Army Esports channel should not be viewed by children because it's targeted at a different type of audience. So this would restrict military ads to only be on 18 and over channels. It would keep them off of channels that are geared towards children that might be streaming Fortnite. And again, because these content creators are very careful in their personas, right? They have curated their persona to appeal to children, to be family friendly, and no obscenities, things like that. Military ads would not appear on those channels. So if you're interested in helping with any of the efforts on this slide, you can reach out to anyone on the Discord. You can put your information in the chat box right now and we'll get in touch with you. Again, we need all the help that we can get, and there's definitely something for everyone, and we'll help you every step of the way if the technology is unfamiliar. Chris now is going to give you more explicit directions on how to get involved.
Hi, back. Thank you, Aaron. As Aaron mentioned, organizing and campaign building can't happen without the support of community. Here are some ways you can get involved, spread our message, and support Gamers for Peace. First, follow, like, and subscribe to all our social media pages. By engaging with Gamers for Peace on social media, you increase algorithms, which will help Gamers for Peace and Veterans for Peace messaging reach a broader audience. Join our Discord, watch for alerts on social media so that you can tune live to our Twitch live streams. By watching live on Twitch, you can engage with the streamers and live in the chat. And that's a lot of lives. I did not pre-think. You can engage with the streamers live in the chat, and you also help boost viewership, which increases the likelihood of our videos being seen by others. On a chapter level, you can help by encouraging Veterans for Peace members who are interested in gaming or streaming to join Gamers for Peace. On a personal level, you can connect with myself or any of our other presenters to learn more about Gamers for Peace. You can create your own digital platform and connect with Gamers for Peace for mutual amplification. For example, if you're already playing video games or streaming content, we can connect on Twitch to have our channels host each other's content, raid each other, and do other things, helping our joint messaging reach a larger audience. You can also purchase some awesome Gamers for Peace swag like the shirts, jerseys, stickers, which can be great conversation starters to help bring awareness to military recruitment of youth in gaming, and also to help spread the anti-war messaging. Everywhere you see military propaganda, just stick a Gamers for Peace sticker near it or over it. I want to see Gamers for Peace sticker bombing every place. That's praxis, right? Gamers for Peace is seeking dedicated content streamers to help promote the Gamers for Peace message and Twitch channel, as well as video game players to form competitive esports teams that can eventually participate in tournaments with eventual goal of competing directly against the military teams themselves. If you or someone you know is interested in supporting the cause in this way, please contact me or join the Discord to learn more about engaging with our growing community of members. So what everybody can do right this second is take your phone out and open your camera, and you can scan that QR code that is on that slide, and it will take you directly to our Discord where you can log in and get connected immediately. I hope to see 40 plus new members joining now, and that would be amazing. You can also go to that website, twitch.tv/veteransforpeace, create an account, hit the heart or hit the bell. It's a heart. It's a heart on Twitch. Hit the heart to tell us that you like us and that you want to hear about when our content is going live. That lets you follow us, and then you can also subscribe. If you're a Prime member, free subscription really helps the channel and helps the efforts of Gamers for Peace. All of this is just been a brief overview of Gamers for Peace. My co-presenters and I are really excited about this initiative and could probably talk forever about it, but I'm sure you all have some great questions and we'd like to hear from you. Alex will mod the rest of our Q&A portion of the presentation. And we'll all be on screen here to talk. And thanks for coming. Really appreciate it. And we couldn't be doing this without you and Veterans for Peace.
Awesome. So everyone's been super active in the chat and the Q&A, which very much appreciated. So let's go ahead and get started. Some of the Q&A answers that are some of the questions that haven't been answered yet, we still have on our little docket here. So the first one is from Will Thomas. Is there any possibility of monitoring how many underage young people are being indoctrinated with military propaganda? Federal legislation, ? How can the military be held accountable? If anyone would like to answer that.
So I think some of our direct action campaigns that Aaron spoke about are sort of aimed at like answering this question, to like monitor like the Twitch badge, for example, or like over 18 designators on their recruitment channels, so that we can keep young people and underage people from being indoctrinated by the military, so that they have to identify themselves in online spaces the way they have to do when they like go to a school, for example, because right now there isn't any like regulations about that. So that's one of the efforts that I think we're working on. I don't know if anybody else has input on that.
Not this isn't this is a little the thing I'm about to bring up is a little bit before Gamers for Peace, but it touches it so much. In 2020, I just pulled up an article in dated July 30th, 2020. So it's a year old, and the headline is after impassioned speech, AOC's ban on U.S. military recruiting via Twitch fails House vote. I'm gonna drop the link to the article down in chat right now. So this problem isn't just us identifying it. This has been a long recognized problem that newer voices have recognized and are trying to bring and have changed. So there are great ideas out there that exist, and we're trying to get to the point where we can get this just more people to pay attention to this right now. And I think there is potential legislation. There's potential places for us to organize our efforts to actually get results that mean the military can't be on Twitch. Period. End statement. We can't do something about the games. Like that might be something that's a whole different endeavor of Gamers for Peace. But getting Twitch to ban the military from having channels, first and foremost, I think is pretty good legislation. I think that's a good place to start. And I think AOC paved the way with that.
All right. Let's go ahead and move on to the next question by Monisha. Have you all connected with Nomi? I'll go ahead and answer this one really quick. I haven't personally talked to anyone over at Nomi, but I do know that VFP has a lot of relationships with them. And I've actually been using a lot of material from their resources to build our mentorship program. And yes, once we actually get the mentorship program like active and we're starting to get people expressing interest in the mentorship program, I think that'd be a great time to reach out to Nomi and have them kind of participate as well. All right. Does anyone else have anything to add to that one? Otherwise, I'll just move on to the next question. Okay. Kara asks, is the Discord server type @mentor active for anyone? The answer is yes. If you go into the server and you type @mentor, you'll alert anyone who has that role within Discord, which right now is just me and Aaron. So if you go in there, type @mentor, ask your question, we'll jump on and we'll answer whatever questions you may have. Let's see. Are there incentives to earn the coveted Gamers for Peace jerseys? I'll leave this one up to Chris.
I cannot believe I forgot to do this. Thank you, Kara, for mentioning this. So one of the things that we have going on, like if you join our Discord, you'll see that myself or Aaron will tag you and give you entries to our monthly giveaway. So Gamers for Peace has a monthly giveaway. And on our community game night, the following month, we roll the giveaway and we get 3 winners, and you can win some of our stickers, which I have here, t-shirts, and hopefully eventually we'll be able to get some jerseys into the giveaway too. So if you want some cool Gamers for Peace swag, joining the Discord earns you entries. Engaging in the Discord earns you entries. Playing in community game night earns you entries. And then you can get some really cool Gamers for Peace swag.
All right. If no one else has anything to add, we'll move on to Greg. He asks, I think the idea of getting kids to skateboard is great. Me too. I'm actually teaching myself how to skateboard right now. What other ideas can you/we employ to pry kids away from their virtual violence machines? Parentheses, I think doing veggie gardening is a great idea. I'll leave that open to the group.
So one thing I want to point out is that I love video games, but Gamers for Peace is not just video games. We have also played board games. Some of us play collectible deck builder games like Magic and Pokemon. And so I think that there's a lot of opportunity to get kids to play physical games that are not on the screen. So hopefully you can still like involve the gaming aspect, but it doesn't all have to be video games. And then there's a lot of video games out there that aren't murder machine ones. One of my favorite ones is Stardew Valley. And there's a lot of cooperative games out there too. So Stardew Valley it can be a cooperative game. And it's basically a farming simulator with a really complex social storyline behind it. So
I just want to piggyback off what Aaron was saying, that while we've been sitting here for almost an hour and a half, spending this workshop talking about how evil games are, there's so much good that comes out of them. There is stuff for the neurodivergent community that helps treatment. There's mental simulation. Studies show that gaming has good value, and for PTSD treatment, a lot of other things. So it's not that we don't want kids playing video games. It's a pastime. It's here. I grew up with it. Video games are part of my life, whether my partner wants them to be or not or anything. They're an absolute part of my life, our life, and just the current culture. So we're not going to pry kids away from that. We're not going to pry ourselves away from that. What we can do is create a healthier space for it. One where we take back our hobbies, right? One where, I also play darts, and I would love to see a dart team form out of Boston, out of this Medley Butler chapter or something like that. I know there's a big dart league. I think it's the Minutemen League up in Boston. But like, I won't go into those spaces because those aren't safe spaces, because all I'm going to get is VFW or and Legion membership, pro military bias, and at least that's what I'm expecting. And so I think generating spaces where we're taking our message into the spaces that are activities that we enjoy is really important. And it doesn't matter if it's gardening, because our Gamers for Peace garden also, and we have a dedicated channel to it called Gardeners for Peace.
A lot of artists as well that display their art all over the Discord server.
Chefs, cooks that have gourmands for peace. There is so much stuff. Meditation is a huge thing. Flow state, as Frank just mentioned in chat. So we don't want to end the relationship with games. We want to address it and make it better. I hope that answers your question.
Cool. Let's see. We don't have any more questions in the Q&A. I know that the chat is popping off and that we have about 5 minutes left. So I think this would be, let's see. Kara just asked, do VGA planets or even MechWarrior have a place in developing Gamers for Peace? I'm assuming those are video games, but I mean, maybe not. If they aren't, anyone has a place in Gamers for Peace, you can definitely get involved.
I will go out on a limb and say I will play the shit out of MechWarrior with you. I will pilot a Timberwolf and I will play the shit out of MechWarrior with you. If I swear, join the Discord. Let's get that going.
Yeah, I think that's one of the great things about Gamers for Peace. And if you join the Discord, anytime the group sees an interest in any of the games, we're happy to add a new channel. We're happy to add a stream if we have enough dedicated people to do it. So if you want to stream Mech Warriors with Chris as part of our Gamers for Peace stream, join us. Yeah, and Jeremiah says Knockout City. I love that game. So if you're interested, join the Discord and we can get a group going.
Awesome. Well, I think this is a good spot to kind of cap us off at the end of our 90 minutes. We have about 3 minutes left. I'll open it up for just last closing out comments from any of our panelists. I just want to say thank you very much, everyone, for your engagement today in the chat and in the Q&A. There is a lot of energy and motivation and participants here in Gamers for Peace, and I know that's what drew me into Veterans for Peace in the first place. It's a very wholesome community. We're all very invested in it. And a lot of us really do believe in the mission. So please come and get involved. They've been posting the Discord links. You had the QR code. Come get involved. We're great people and we'd love to have you. And we'll get you involved in a way that you'd enjoy.
I'll let Aaron or Yo-Yo go, please. I was going to say, please, one of you two go first.
Okay, I was going to say, yeah, I just wanted to reiterate what Alex said. Like I said in the beginning, I've loved video games, but I've been sort of hesitant to play online and play with other people I don't know because of the toxic nature of some of the online communities in gaming and with things like the military recruitment. And I don't want to play video games with those people. I want to play video games with people who want to have fun, who want to promote peace, who just want to enjoy a hobby. And that's what I found here at Gamers for Peace, and I'm really excited about being part of these direct actions to take back our hobby spaces.
Yeah, I'm really excited to have more Veterans for Peace members on the Discord, and also to someday, once COVID is managed, to take Gamers for Peace into the real world. I'm really excited to wear my jersey to pickleball sometime, if anyone's a pickleball player, and looking forward to that.
And I'm really grateful to the Truth-in-Recruitment working group that developed the initial idea, gave the initial momentum for Veterans for Peace to mobilize. The efforts of Natasha and the rest of that Truth-in-Recruitment group we wouldn't have Gamers for Peace if it wasn't for that. And I couldn't be prouder of what we've accomplished and the direction that we're going as a community. And it's absolutely amazing. So I just want to thank my fellow panelists and the rest of the Gamers for Peace that have been in chat throughout this and keeping chat so lively. Thank you. I'm gonna switch hats real quick from my Gamer for Peace member to Chris, and go from Sincerely to Chris for just a moment, and let you know that you can continue this conversation in the social channel, in the social hangout room that's always open during the convention around the clock. You can join that. You can also, with your new entrance into the realm of Discord, keep this conversation alive and going, and let's start it in the general channel and then possibly move it into its own channel or find a better location for it. There's voice chats and text chats available there, so it's really inclusive, easy space to occupy. So now that you're Discord members, let's go use it and start a conversation there. You can also, and then join us in the social channel. We'll keep this conversation going and maybe get some other Veteran for Peace members over into the Discord. Be great too. Don't forget, thanks so much for joining us. And don't forget to check out Workshop Session 2 at 2 p.m. Central. Plus, all the recordings from yesterday are now up and will be available to access throughout the convention for the next 30 days. I don't think that was a complete sentence. Let me rewind that and try again. All the recordings from yesterday are now up, and you will be able to access them from the virtual convention page at any time for the next 30 days. Thanks for joining us once again, and we hope to see you on Discord and on Twitch. Have a great day, everybody.